Hey, Julie, do you know your friend's relationship with porn?
No, I absolutely do not.
Well, one mom on our survey this week just got back from a girls' trip and realized she was the only woman in the entire group who doesn't regularly watch porn.
Jesus Christ, I'm so glad I was not on that girls' trip. Honestly, this stuff makes me so uncomfortable. Like you should have gotten a sub. You should have gotten somebody to sub in for me for this episode. But seriously, in doing research for this one, I came across a term. It's erotophobia, which is the clinical term describing an extreme aversion to or fear of sexual topics imagery.
Erotophobia.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
me. It's me. I'm self-diagnosing myself as erotophobia.
Interesting. What do you think is behind that?
Well, I think like all things, I think it must go back to childhood where so many of my friends were talking about sex, whether they'd had it or not, and I was like 2 years behind in that development trajectory, late bloomer. So I felt always just very clueless, and I really wanted to shrink into myself during those conversations. Now, as an adult woman, I am neither clueless or uncomfortable about sex, but talking about it like this still feels weird and icky and disloyal to my younger self, I guess. Continuous work in progress.
I mean, aren't we all? But also, Julie, I can totally relate. And I think a lot of people can. And it just goes back to why we started this podcast because there are so many topics that they're just uncomfortable to talk about, whether it's sex, whether it's money. And you're probably right. Like I think a lot of this is related to our childhood and our upbringing, but I think that's why we started this because we do want to talk about it. It's just hard. And having an anonymous poll where we can share, but then also having this podcast where you can tune in and listen to the truth in a very anonymous, non-judgmental way. Maybe this is just self-serving for us, but I do believe we're not alone here.
Yeah, and I actually think you bring up another good point about childhood, and I think it matters whether or not you grew up in a sex positive, is that the right phrase? Sex positive home.
Yeah.
In my house, there was no discussion about sex or bodies or anything like that. So I think that has something to do with it. And now I've taken it to the extreme where if one of my kids asks me a question, and it could be an innocuous question about, I don't know, anything. And I'll be like, well, guys, the body is a beautiful thing and it's designed to feel pleasure. And they're like, stop, mom, stop.
Oh my god, I can just picture it. I can totally picture it. You're like, "Did someone say sex? Oh, let's talk about sex." They're like, "No, no one said sex, mom."
Exactly.
Oh my god. Wow. Today we are talking about cheating and we are asking questions. Have you cheated? Have you considered cheating? Why? And also something that we got a lot of questions about. What are your thoughts on consensual non-monogamous relationships? So not really in the box of cheating, like consensual things like swinging and polyamory. So we're going to dig into this. This was a great poll and we got a lot of great stuff out of it, so I'm excited to chat.
Me too. Me too. And listeners, remember, Midlife Confidential is powered by your anonymous sharing, allowing us to bring these hard but really important topics into the light. So, unless you quit social after our two-part episodes on social media in midlife, please follow us on Instagram so you'll know when our next poll drops. Also, friends, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this podcast on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. Seriously, hit pause, click subscribe. We won't go anywhere. This really helps us get the word out and keep bringing these really juicy and important topics to you.
Thanks. Thanks in advance. All right, let's jump in. So, first, if you didn't take the poll, we'll give you guys a quick rundown of what we asked for. We'll start with some of the quantitative data. So, we asked people, "Have you cheated?" And the majority said no. We then asked, "What is the likelihood that you would cheat?" And we had like a scale of 1 to 5. About 16% of you have considered cheating. 42% have either thought about cheating or maybe fantasized about cheating. And then 42% of you said never, no way. So That was the quantitative stuff, but really the good stuff came in your comments and the qualitative questions. So we're gonna dig into some of the themes that emerged from that.
And to be clear, these percentages, this data is for the current relationship you're in, not have you ever considered it like in the past with your college sweetheart. It's in your current relationship.
Great point, great point. And I would say something that I didn't mention, but most folks who responded have been in their relationship for 10 plus and many 20 plus years. So these are long-term relationships.
So let's dig into the themes. Crushes and fantasies. So, a majority of respondents claim they haven't physically or emotionally cheated, but they're definitely looking at other parents on the fields or at the school drop off line. I love this one.
Oh my God, it's just making me think like, man, I show up sometimes like a hot mess. I don't think I'm one of those people.
Now I'm going to show up and be like, "You're looking at me, aren't you? It's me."
God. I'm gonna dress. I'm gonna dress and put myself together because I wanna be one of those people.
I think it is natural. We're humans are drawn to other humans,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Multiple respondents admitted to having steamy, sexy dreams, masturbating to, or fantasizing during sex about other parents in their kids' friend groups.
I love it.
One female respondent, I'll quote, "I haven't cheated, but I've masturbated to and have sexy dreams about a dad of my kid's friends would never act on anything."
I wonder how they feel when they're in person with this guy. Like, I would think like, "Oh my god, does he know? Does he know I had a dream?"
I don't know. I can't tell you because it's not me.
Yeah, me
One
neither.
of the male respondents said, "I find that there are so many attractive moms in my child's friend groups. You love the person you are with, but mixing it up without destroying anything."
Yeah, we've heard a lot about that, like, this desire to mix it up, but not to blow up your life.
Right. And I think crushes and fantasies in every relationship, we talk about like the hall pass, but we're talking about like a famous person.
Julie, I wanna know, who's your famous person hall pass? Because I have one.
I think I know yours. Isn't it like either Chris Evans, Ryan Reynolds? It's that
Close. Those would be great. It's Chris Hemsworth.
that's right. That's right.
And Tony is fully aware of this, so, it's cool.
Yeah, I don't really honestly, I don't have a single one. I would say Bradley Cooper's up there,
Like him too. Mm.
Patrick Dempsey, George Clooney. I have like a brooding
Yeah.
male type,
Okay,
I
okay.
would
Yeah.
say.
Yep, yep. You definitely yeah. You
Yeah,
you have a
not
type.
Boy Next Door.
No, same, no.
Let's talk about cheating, where cheating happens. So, when cheating does happen, it's frequently, no surprise, happening at work. Respondents note that spending long hours working on challenging projects makes it impossible not to develop deep emotional and physical attractions outside of marriage. This one, we could do a whole episode on this because that word impossible, I think we could peel it apart 17 different ways. You put two people together in a container of the office or a movie set or repetitive Zoom calls or whatnot, right? And you are going to develop a close relationship.
I mean, I will say this makes sense to me because if you think about it, when you're in midlife, you kind of have if you're working, you have, like, 2 separate lives. You have your home life and you have your work life, and I think sometimes the beauty of your work life is that it is contained. It's, like, separate, and
Mm.
it's almost like I mean, obviously, work can be incredibly stressful, but it's a fantasy world of you have responsibilities at work, and it's you, yourself, your team there, and all that other stuff can kind of go away, so I could see it being an environment where you kind of feel like I don't know. It's set up. It's kind of set up. It's like this separate world.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And it's different now where so many people in the corporate world are working remotely. Back when I was in my 20s and 30s and I was going to an office every day and everybody was going to an office every day, there really was that separation of, work Julie and home Julie sort of. And now Now, that just doesn't exist much
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also with phones and the internet, work life can then bleed into home life and home life can bleed into work life more now. So, yeah, I'd be interesting to see if there's any data that talks about kind of trends in affairs that are happening at work if that's shifted over time now
Yeah.
that the lines are blurry.
Yep.
All right. Well, we talked about crushes and fantasies, where cheating happens. Now let's dig into what you all shared about why cheating happens. So, for those who did cross that line into either a physical or emotional cheating, the why wasn't necessarily a lack of love for your significant other. It really boiled down to exhaustion from just like this domestic routine and this codependency on another person was often framed as an escape from boredom and a partner who relies too heavily on them for just the day-to-day management. So kind of that groundhog day over reliance, just needing to change things up. A great quote that I'll share is someone said, "I cheated not because I don't love my husband. I cheated because I was bored with the monotony and also his reliance on me for all the things. I needed an escape."
It's interesting because my first thought is, I'm too tired for an escape.
Me too. Yeah, I mean, I think about this like the logistics and the time and energy that would have to go into this. God, I mean, I just think about all the other ways I could use that extra time and energy.
Totally. But I also think there's a difference between cheating and having an affair, right?
Right, right.
Like cheating a one time, maybe it's a one time thing, maybe it's a mistake, maybe it was, tied to an event versus a long term affair. I
Absolutely.
mean, it's both,
And
it's all cheating.
yeah, yeah. And it's filling an unmet need versus being really attracted to someone and being like, I want to have sex with that person. Like it's a lot deeper. It's rooted in deeper stuff than just the sex.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is the percentage of females who were either considering or have cheated. And I don't know if that's gender bias. Is that gender bias? But I feel like at least in my mind, I assumed that when we saw females responding that they had cheated, that it would be more for their emotional needs being met. But the data that we're seeing was less about that and more about like I needed to mix it up. I needed something to break up the monotony. So that
Yeah.
was interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, the final really interesting finding was we're going to call this one the no sex shift. Several women explicitly stated that they currently feel asexual or they're wishing for a socially acceptable way to opt out of the bedroom entirely. And I'll read a quote. It was, "Can we add an option for people who would like to opt out or have no sex relationships? When can we be that cute old couple who are just holding hands, watching TV, and getting a solid 8 hours of sleep?"
Hmm. Try it. I say try it.
I do wonder, like, when does that happen? Or, like, do old people sounds so awful. Do old people still have sex? Is there an age where it just, like, flips?
No, but I'm sure you can remember being 20 and thinking 40-year-old people having sex was repulsive. And now look at where we are.
I know. I would love to ask, and I don't know who to ask that question to. I don't wanna ask my parents. Hi, mom and dad, in case you're listening, you do not need to tell me. But I am curious, we're focused on midlife, but there's this incredible generation that comes after, and I'd be interested to hear their thoughts.
Yeah, it's almost we need to redo the sex poll and aim for a older demographic so we know
Yeah,
what's
yeah, yeah.
coming.
All right. All right, stay tuned.
Okay. So let's talk about non monogamy. When asked about polyamory, swinging, or open relationships, the consensus was cool in theory, terrifying in execution. Before I get to what the respondents had to say, Jenny, what exactly is polyamory for me and all of our listeners?
And me too, I will admit, when we dug into this, I thought I had an idea, but I did have to look up what polyamory is. So for everyone wondering, polyamory is the practice of having multiple romantic or sexual relationships simultaneously, but with the consent and the knowledge of everyone involved. So it falls under this umbrella of ethical non-monogamy,
Mm.
and it's really focused on, like, open communication and honesty, so it's not cheating, and it's having multiple partners simultaneously.
Could never take part in that.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Me neither.
I'm I don't consider myself to be a jealous person, but I can't get behind my husband dating other people, and I certainly know that he would not be cool. I guess it's every relationship is different.
Yeah, and remember, ideally, you're both doing it, so, I wonder if it's both people doing it, if it's, like, easier to accept. It's
Yeah.
like, "Well, my husband's doing it, but I'm also doing it," but man, it just sounds so complicated emotionally, physically, time consuming. You
Yeah.
gotta really want it to get into this.
And whoever's somebody had to drive that initial conversation, and so I would say that person wants it more,
Mhm.
and I don't know, I feel like
Or
that stuff.
maybe you're just attracted to people who have a similar stance on this
Mm.
stuff. I would guess that it's not like all of a sudden one day, 10 years into your marriage, you're like, "Hey," I mean, this probably does happen, but it's more like this is probably part of your relationship from the
Yeah.
get-go,
Yeah,
and
good point.
maybe you choose someone who has a similar take on it. I don't
Good
know.
point, good point. Well, in terms of our respondents, many of them think that this idea of non-monogamy is hot or interesting, but the reality of watching their spouse, as we were saying, with someone else triggers immediate guilt, jealousy, or a feeling that there's no way that would end well. So there you
Mhm,
go.
mhm.
One respondent admitted to entertaining a half open marriage where she got to sleep with others, but her husband stayed monogamous before feeling too guilty to pursue it. So,
Hmm, right, so that's polyamory one-sided. I'm assuming this person meant they would
yeah.
tell their husband, right? So
Yes.
it doesn't fall into the cheating camp. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So this is an example where it's probably, yeah, for this listener or this respondent, it's a hard thing to broach.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Jenny, I have a question for you. Would you rather, you have to answer honestly, would you rather
Okay.
be a guest star in someone else's bedroom or have a guest star in yours?
God, okay, I have to pick one, I can't say neither.
No, you have to pick one.
Okay, okay. My gut reaction is I would rather be a guest star in someone else's bedroom, and again, I don't really wanna do this, but if I had to me, that is the least messy, complicated way out of this because I feel like guest star, one-time thing,
Mhm.
bringing someone into my bedroom with my husband, immediately, I think jealousy, I think imposter syndrome, I think, like, this can't end well. So, yeah, that the first one feels it's a more separate. What about you?
Same for all the reasons that you mentioned. I mean, to be clear, listeners, don't all come at once. I am not interested.
Find Julie on Instagram if you want.
Don't come for me. Not interested. But yes, I would pick being in someone else's bedroom.
Okay, let's look externally. Oh my God, there was so much out there, so much interesting research. But since we don't have all day, I want to share something that I read, which was a new term for me, and I'm sure for you too, Julie. CNM, which stands for consensual non-monogamy. I saw this over and over again. So I'm going to refer to this a couple times. And that kind of falls into the camp of polyamory. So there was an international study that tracked the actual mechanics of how people successfully navigate these multi-partner dynamics without secrecy, without betrayal. And it actually identified 9 maintenance practices that healthy CNM couples use, including radical disclosure. And they did say that CNM couples, they do experience jealousy just like everyone else, but the difference is they don't look at jealousy as a sign that their relationship is broken. They actually use these very specific maintenance tools to talk through it, and they aim for something, another word I had never heard of, compersion, which is basically the opposite of jealousy. It's this art of being happy that your partner is happy, even if you aren't the sole source of that happiness. I mean, talk about being very mature and evolved.
Okay. In practice, I feel like I need to break this down in practice. So you are in a relationship and your husband is getting it from somebody else and he's so happy and he's getting the best sex of his life from this other woman. And you are too in this situation from somebody else. And you're happy that he's happy and it's so great. Is it though? Like your husband's gonna walk in the door and be like, "I just got the best blowjob of my life from Sally,"
Right. Right.
because then he's thinking about Sally all the time. Why did I just use the name Sally?
Oh, poor Sally. You can't separate, in my mind, the physical and the emotional. And as soon as you bring the emotional into it, how do you not get past the jealousy part there or the feeling of you're not enough? I don't know. It's so complicated.
Yeah, I mean, I yeah. Yeah,
Unless both
anyway,
people are doing it. That's what I'm going back to. Like, I think maybe Julie, if you were also doing it, that almost levels the playing field a bit. And maybe you're both getting something out of it. And that makes it a little bit easier. I just can't imagine it being one way and it working.
yeah, maybe I think I'm really old-fashioned. I think no physical intimacy in a relationship, but being great partners, great life partners otherwise is much better than having intimacy with other partners.
Let me ask you this though. Let's say you were in a marriage where your partner has a high sex drive and you or the other person does not want to have sex, but they love their partner. Is there a world where in that case, like, you can't provide something that your partner needs? Could you be okay with your partner getting it elsewhere? You know, if it's kind of like a contract of like, I can't give this to you and I know it's important. Let's find a way for you to get it so that we're both and then you're both happy because you don't have to do the thing you don't want to do and they get the thing that they want. Like, is that more palatable?
I don't know. Go into the other room and watch porn.
I know. You're right. Maybe there's other ways to get it, and sometimes I think, like, it would just I'd be more okay with it if it was, like, a business transaction.
I know what you mean because the way that you just described it is sort of no strings attached, transactional, and everybody's happy. But I don't know that everybody would be happy in that scenario.
Right. I mean, I'm just trying to, like, flip it. Like, let's say I really need someone to provide me a level of emotional support that I'm not getting from my partner. Could I hire someone to come into my house and tell me how awesome I am as a mom and I'm doing all these things and, "Oh my god, you look so beautiful today." Like, if let's say my partner can't do that for me, what if I hired someone to come and do that for me? Is that cheating?
Well, Jenny, I think you just brought up a great case for an episode on AI because you can get that right
You're right.
now by
You're right.
talking to Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT or Copilot.
You're right. I need just like an AI that can just stroke my ego
No,
daily.
but that's yeah, and then there comes the the death of human
Yep.
intimacy and connection. What's Maslow's hierarchy of needs still a thing or is that outdated?
Yeah. I don't know, but I don't think AI is on that chart.
I think it might need to be redone.
All right, future episode coming at you. We'll get into it.
All right. Well, Jenny, I could go on and on and on and on and on about this. Actually, no, I couldn't because this was the most uncomfortable 45 minutes. My week. Can't believe I said the word masturbating on a podcast that's going to be out there in perpetuity. I'm growing.
You are. Look at this in real time.
All right, listeners, that's a wrap. Follow us, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Find us on social at The Real Midlife Confidential, and you will be kept up to date on our next episode, which is going to be another good one. We're going to talk about midlife hair. It sounds boring, but it's not. Trust us.
We will see you next time for your reality check. And until then, keep your secret safe unless you're telling us.